Why would anyone enjoy pain? Not emotional pain, not danger, physical pain. Because every time you eat something extremely spicy, your brain reacts as if your mouth is literally on fire. Your heart rate increases, you start sweating, your stress system activates. From a biological perspective, this reaction exists to protect you. And yet, millions of people actively seek this sensation out. They crave it. So here's the real question. What kind of brain turns pain into pleasure? Loving spicy food has nothing to do with toughness or culture alone. It reveals something deeper: how the human brain interprets discomfort, regulates stress, and learns reward. In this video, we're going to break down the psychology of people who love spicy food, using only findings from neuroscience, psychology, and peer-reviewed research. No myths, no motivational hype, just science. By the end, spicy food won't just feel intense, it will make psychological sense. Let's start with the most important misconception. Spicy food is not a flavor. Sweet, salty, sour, bitter, and umami are detected by taste receptors on your tongue, but spiciness doesn't belong to this system at all. What you experience as heat from chili peppers is actually pain. The chemical responsible is capsaicin, which binds to a receptor called TRVP1. These receptors exist to detect extreme heat or tissue damage. In other words, the same receptors that warn you when you touch a hot stove are activated when you eat spicy food. Your brain doesn't register spicy, it registers burning. That's why the body reacts with increased heart rate, sweating, facial flushing, activation of the stress response. From a neurological standpoint, spicy food is a simulated threat, and this raises an obvious psychological question. Why would anyone voluntarily expose themselves to something their brain interprets as danger? The answer lies not in taste, but in how the brain processes and regulates pain. If pain is, by definition, unpleasant, enjoying spicy food shouldn't be possible. Yet, it is. Psychologists use the term benign masochism to describe situations where people seek out unpleasant sensations while knowing they are ultimately safe. Examples include horror movies, roller coasters, extreme sports, and yes, very spicy food. In these cases, the brain detects threat signals but simultaneously understands that no real harm is occurring. This creates a unique emotional state: arousal from danger detection, relief from safety awareness, and pleasure from mastery over discomfort. People who enjoy spicy food are not ignoring pain, their brains are reinterpreting it. Higher cognitive regions, particularly the prefrontal cortex, down-regulate fear responses and label the sensation as controllable. The enjoyment doesn't come from pain itself, it comes from successfully regulating pain. This ability to sit with discomfort without panicking is a measurable psychological skill. The brain doesn't just detect pain, it responds to it. When pain signals are activated, the brain releases endorphins, natural opioids that reduce discomfort and produce mild euphoria. This is the same system involved in intense exercise, stress-induced analgesia, and certain forms of pleasure. At the same time, the brain's dopamine system becomes involved. Dopamine is not about pleasure itself, it's about learning and anticipation. Over repeated exposure to spicy food, the brain learns a pattern. Pain occurs, endorphins are released, relief follows, pleasure emerges. Eventually, the brain begins anticipating the reward. This anticipation is enough to motivate behavior. So people who love spicy food aren't chasing pain, they're chasing the predictable neurochemical payoff that follows it. Pain becomes the gateway, not the goal. Research shows that enjoying spicy food correlates with certain personality traits, but this does not mean personality is determined by food preference. The strongest association is with sensation seeking. Sensation seekers are individuals who prefer intense experiences, enjoy physiological arousal, and are comfortable with controlled risk. Spicy food provides exactly this: strong sensory stimulation, temporary stress activation, and no real danger. Another trait linked to spicy food enjoyment is openness to experience. People high in openness tend to explore unfamiliar foods, enjoy novelty, and adapt quickly to new sensations. Spicy cuisines often involve complexity, cultural variety, and sensory richness, qualities that appeal to openness. Importantly, these are statistical tendencies, not rules. Liking spicy food doesn't define who someone is, but it reflects how they respond to stimulation and novelty. No one is born loving spicy food. Spicy tolerance is learned. Repeated exposure to capsaicin causes desensitization at the receptor level. TRVP1 receptors become less reactive over time, but adaptation occurs in the brain as well. With repeated exposure, the nervous system learns this sensation is intense but not dangerous. Fear decreases, expectation changes, pleasure becomes possible. This is classical conditioning at work. Cultures where spicy food is common often introduce it early in life, shaping neural responses through repeated exposure. The result isn't toughness, it's familiarity, and familiarity fundamentally changes perception. Here's a subtle psychological insight. Spicy food activates the stress response. Heart rate increases, arousal rises, attention sharpens. But some people interpret this bodily state as anxiety, while others interpret it as excitement. This difference matters. Research on emotional regulation shows that how people label physiological arousal determines their emotional experience. People who enjoy spicy food may be more comfortable experiencing elevated arousal without interpreting it as danger. This doesn't mean they experience less stress overall. It means they respond differently to it. Spicy food becomes a training ground for reframing discomfort. It's important to avoid simplification. Loving spicy food does not mean someone has higher pain tolerance in all situations, is emotionally tougher, handles trauma better. Pain tolerance is highly context-dependent. Enjoying capsaicin doesn't translate to resilience in every domain. Psychology deals in probabilities, not identities, and mistaking one for the other leads to poor conclusions. Another reason spicy food lovers keep increasing intensity is hedonic adaptation. The brain adapts to repeated stimuli. What once felt intense becomes normal, so people often increase spice levels, not because they want more pain, but because their nervous system has recalibrated. This same process occurs with exercise, stimulation, and achievement. Intensity shifts baseline perception. People who love spicy food are not seeking pain. They are engaging with a controlled challenge that activates pain, reward, learning, and emotional regulation. Spicy food reveals how the brain reinterprets discomfort, learns reward through relief, adapts through repetition, and regulates stress. It shows that pleasure isn't always about avoiding discomfort. Sometimes it emerges from understanding and mastering it. Spicy food is just the stimulus. The psychology behind it explains much more about how the human brain works. If this changed how you see spicy food and your brain, like the video, subscribe, and comment below. Do you love spicy food or avoid it? And why do you think that is? Because understanding your mind isn't trivia, it's leverage.